We're going live now, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Um, record live. So let me just double check and see if we're live on my Facebook, and then we start. All right. Good evening, Mr. Okpa.
Hello, how are you? Ayo?
I'm good. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello there, everyone. I have the honor of presenting to you tonight Franktalk with Dada on matters arising. This is a chat with a very good friend of mine, straight shooter, a politician of repute from Dallas, Texas. He was a candidate for Senate. We'll normally have two Senate representatives in the state of Texas. He, I believe, was challenging for a seat in District 33 here in Dallas.
32.
Huh?
District 32 House, not
Oh,
Senate.
32, District 32. Thank you. So I have the pleasure of presenting to you now EE Okpa. So good evening, Mr. Okpa.
Thank you, Ayo. How are you? Thank you for having me. I know it took time to get the schedule, but hey, good things happen to those who wait.
Yes, indeed. Good things happen to those who wait. I'm actually glad that we can actually make this tonight. We can have this chat. I've been looking forward to talking to you, to be honest, because I read a lot of your writings. And to those who um, have different views, they would, kind of criticize you that you are, you're too harsh and like you don't see anything really good and decent about Nigeria, and I tell them that that's not the case. But before we get into that, Mr. Okpa, can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you find yourself in America? And yes.
Well, thank you for having me. I was college educated in Nigeria. I came in my 20s. I went to college in Port Harcourt, UST to be exact. I studied estate management, which is real estate. My dad was one of the 33 members that served as chiefs in the Eastern Nigeria House of Chiefs. From 1960 to 1967. My grandfather before him was, also a local chief, and I worked with one of the contractors that built Enugu prisons.
Mhm.
So that's just my background. So after I was going to come to America after high school, because I made grade one. I passed all my papers one time, and so my father said, no, don't go to America, stay back, go to school in Nigeria, understand who you are before you go, because America is not running away. America will be there when you get there. But, come prepared, with a mentality and a mindset that will make you useful to understand what you are there for. So I waited and I came after that. As a matter of fact, that was one of the best things my father, ever did for me, because when I came, I was set. When I landed in Dallas, I have lived in the same zip code. For an immigrant, I have lived in the same zip code. I've had the same telephone number since 1987. I still drive one of the cars that I bought. I'm probably the only Nigerian in America who has a 35-year-old BMW that I still drive. You know,
Mm.
just because I have this sense of self, and when I'm set on something, I am focused on it. So I've had the pleasure of doing it professionally. I'm the only Nigerian who's ever studied estate management in America. In Nigeria, came to America and became a certified appraiser. No Nigerian has done that. You know,
Mm.
I'm one of the first set of 21 minorities in the state of Texas to be certified as an appraiser in 1992. This is all happening less than 7 years I was in America to get into the profession. I was regional appraisal manager for the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Back then, when banks were failing in America, I was the one in charge of failed bank assets over 8 states.
Hmm.
The only black person who's ever done that job.
Hmm.
Because when I landed, I said, if in 2 years I don't get into real estate, that's what I've always wanted to do because my father was in it. I was going to go back to Nigeria. And when even my uncle, my mom's brother, who was responsible for me coming to Dallas, was more like, oh, this is America. I said, forget this. You know, if I don't get into what I want, I'm not going to be here for the sake of being in America. I was going to go back. And lo and behold, in less than 2 years, I was into real estate, doing research and understanding the American real estate, and then worked my way up to where I was an asset manager for FDIC before I became a regional appraisal manager. So that's what I've done. And then in 2003, I became a citizen in 1995. And then in 2003, I ran for mayor. I'm the first immigrant in the history of Dallas to run for mayor of that city in less than 8 years of becoming a US citizen. Less than 8 years. I mean, less than 8 years.
Hmm.
Okay, I didn't win, but I never lost anything. In politics, most people always think about the winning part of it. It's a journey, it's a process, especially when you engage with the system. When you run for office in America, you go to debate, you go to talk about issues. Of course, there are sentiments, whether you win or not. But those knowledge, because of that, I know about the police. In 2000, I wrote the policy on how Nigeria can enforce community policing. Back then, it was Inspector General of Police was Tafa Balogun. It
Hmm.
was the policy, the concept that I wrote that he took and gave a contract, a former Houston police chief.
Hmm.
Later down the road, Obasanjo sent him to jail for whatever, but it has nothing to do with that. But that's what I have done because I graduated from Dallas Police Citizens Academy in 1998. And I did the
As a police officer?
no, there's a citizens program that you
Oh,
can
okay.
for 9 weeks where they teach you about the police work, but I'm not a sworn officer. I never want to do that job, but I need to. I like to understand law enforcement. I did something for the FBI. Dallas FBI, the only African that is ever graduated from that program in 2003. So this is what I have done, and I've been self-employed. I've been self-employed since 1990.
Hmm.
Nobody has ever given me a paycheck except for the one I'm able to earn myself in professional service. I can talk about what I have done in real estate. After 9/11, I was one of 9 people that the U.S. State Department selected to do site selection for new embassies across the world. I was given a assignment and I was given a choice to do a proposal for embassy in Mexico, Sri Lanka, and Republic of Benin. You don't get to do those things if you're a lightweight. Okay, so I have interest for public service, but I'm not a politician. I'm
All
not a
right, talking about politics. Thank you, Mr. Okpa. Yeah, you said you're not a politician, but you write a lot about politics, and your writings are very very thought provoking, and sometimes I would even say uh, deep in the sense that things that people don't probably wouldn't think about. You put it in a way that it arouses uh, um, arouses one's uh, interest, you know, in the writing. So having said that, what do you think about what is going on in Nigeria now politically? What do you think?
Look, I'm an American by choice. When I became a citizen, I took an oath of citizenship. I will defend this country, America, and honor it. But my ancestry and heritage is still intact. Anybody who looks at my name will know, hey, this is where I came from, even though my son has the same name. But so my thing about Nigeria is how come such a giant? How come such a country. I don't even want to talk about natural resources because oftentimes we misplace the value of the human capital and we put weight on natural resources. How come Nigeria is a member of one of the top 10 countries in the world because of the size of its population? And but look at how from 1914 to date, how many Nigerians are happy about what they see in the country? Name any sector of an economy that people will say, "Oh my God, this is where Nigeria has a shining example." Is it in the power delivery? Is it in the utilities? Is it in the business sector? Is it in how we manage natural resources that God has given us? Is it in how we even relate to each other as Nigerians? I mean, we're a very tribal people, and even when you get into each tribe, there are still segment people who just don't like the other side. I'm Igbo. I'm from Enugu State originally. I mean, I can tell you about the Igbo people. The Igbos are the most this. I mean, they have this intra hatred amongst themselves. Because I'm Anambra, I'm this and that, and even so the units are too fragmented. And I'm saying, at what point do Nigerians become citizens instead of being tribal? The first thing a Nigerian wants to talk about is, oh, I'm this, my Igwe, my Amainabo, my MM, my this and that. So their allegiance is not to the nation, it's usually to their traditional ways, their culture. And that's what has caused this tension in Nigeria. And no Nigerian head of state, president, civilian, has ever spoken to the heart of Nigerians. I mean, can we start with even 1970 when the Civil War ended? Is it Gowon that did that? Is it Murtala Muhammad that did that? Is it Obasanjo that did that? And then Shagari? And then go down the line. Who is that Nigerian president that has actually spoken to the heart of Nigerians and said, here are our challenges. This is what we really need to do. This is not about me. I may be the guy who has the big head, but this is all about you people. But what Nigerians have learned by default and then also by their traditional way of thinking is just to celebrate, is my village man, is my village woman who is senator, governor. At the end of the day, like my wife always asks me, what has that got to do with the price of bread? Because your tribal man is the president. Look at the people from the north. If we were to draw a line between, a longitudinal, are the northern Nigerians happy? I've physically been to northern part of Nigeria because my brother-in-law was a military governor during Abacha time. I've visited the place. The place is depressing. Even though they are doing all this rank a day there, chief, blah, blah, blah. A lot of the people in the north are being, slaves to their own people. And so if that's the life they want to live, fine. But, maybe people in the south don't want to do that way. And so that's why I write about Nigeria. I write about Nigeria in the sense that Nigerians rather be doormats to those who supposed to serve them. It's like somebody who's supposed to serve you is starving you. Can you just think about that for a minute? Somebody who's supposed to serve you is starving you. So the Nigerian elected people are starving Nigerians, and Nigerians are busy celebrating them, hailing them. How many Nigerians who have taken money and ran overseas? How many Nigerian presidents, apart from the time, when Buhari was head of state? That was even when I was doing my youth service. He was head of state with and Tunde Idiabon was his number 2, and they made the effort to go and get Omar Odiko from London. At least they made an effort. The world celebrated Nigeria, even though the mission didn't go through. Since then, most Nigerian former government officials live abroad with stolen money from Nigeria. And Nigerians, even the Nigerians who I would consider the new and improved, those who are in London or US, because anybody, if you're not in these two countries, you're in a purgatory. There's a purgatory. You haven't gotten there. But how many Nigerians in UK and US have actually said, my God, you people, we are going to come after you. We from the oil industry, ministers from my ministry, or those who have served in what is their name, NNPC, who are sitting happy abroad, having taken so much money from Nigerians. I mean, those things don't happen with other countries. It will never happen. They will come after their people using the laws available. America has laws that are available that if Nigerians want it, they can go after those ones who steal from their people and come and put the money here. But we don't do it because we are still very tribal. We are justifying the people who are supposed to serve us, who starve us. Nigerians justify it. If not, why should 1 plus 36 men today in Nigeria be the ones holding Nigeria down? The president and 36 governors. The problem of Nigeria is about those men.
Do you think, I'm going to come back to the politics of 2023, but do you think, Mr. Okpa, that the 36 states that Nigeria was divided into, do you think that could be one of the problems? Are you one of those that believe that we should at least return the Nigerian government to regionalism, or
You know,
maybe yes, or
yeah,
maybe we
well, I
restrict?
mean, yeah, look, we went from 4 regions. I mean, things were stable at the time, and then we went to 12, 19, 27, 36. That's the progression of state creation until 1996, when the last set of states were created. See, the problem with Nigeria, democracy is a very sophisticated mindset. Okay, Nigerians are not mentally matured for democracy because they still yield to that traditional thing. My papa tell me to go become a doctor. My mama, I have to do this. My Igwe do this. So now they do this. Or guy, like the Yoruba people, Dobale, Joe, the outside Ranka Dede, the Igbo man, Igwe, and everybody else is copying and pasting the same news and tradition. So now you have to deal with the man who has control of the police and the army, who is going to now tell you, hey, if you don't do what I want, I'm going to whoop you into shape. This that's the Nigerian thing. It doesn't matter whether you make every compound. Okay, let me even go down to the very minute micro level of it. If you make every compound in Nigeria a state, okay, and the head of that compound is a governor, whatever you call him, they're still going to find division. Oh, your mama is the junior wife. You have this and this and that. That's just the basic nature of Nigeria. Again, going back to what I said earlier, Nigerians are not citizens. They are very tribal people. And the tribal people don't build nations because they have inward outlook. They look towards themselves. It's our own. I mean, look at the National Assembly in Nigeria. If you walk into that chamber, either the Senate or the House of Representatives, you can tell who is from what part of Nigeria because they're going to wear their tribal outfit. They're going to wear their tribal outfit. The president of Nigeria dresses ceremoniously. I mean, Agbada is a three-piece, fabric. So,
But do you think there is anything wrong with that? Because
because he sends the wrong signal. So if he's an Hausa man who is having the Hausa attire, the other man will say, hey, when is my own people going to be there to dress and wear our own traditional way?
But sometimes the Yoruba man does wear the Hausa attire, and
It
the Igbo
doesn't
man.
matter. We have to have something that is tribal neutral. We have to have something because we are very serious tribal people. Everybody wants their own person at the table.
So what is the tribal neutral? Is this because for me, I know it's very, very important, but is it the outward look that matters, or what is inside? What is in the mind?
The outward look. You remember, everything is appearance. In America they say, don't judge a book by the cover. Okay, fine. But most people are going to do that. In America, there are certain places because of the way you dress, people are just going to put you. I mean, it's the human subconscious reaction. I'm just saying for Nigeria, Nigerians show who they are, and they show it to let you know I'm this, I'm that. And so in a country where such a thing is a tension, I mean, remember people from Calabar, the Effions, there are minorities in Nigeria, even throughout the north. Everybody's not Hausa Fulani. But
True.
the way they portray these things makes you already feel, you are not anybody. So I'm just saying we should migrate. mentally. Let the conduct, let the conduct be the things that gives you that sense of service, and not because you are Igbo, you are Yoruba, or this or that. Because it's it's very sensitive. Nigerians are sensitized to their tribal, you know, uh, stuff. And the political people don't make any mistake to remind you of that. Have you ever seen any Nigerian man without a cap? Why are you wearing a cap in a tropical weather? Why? You know,
Because that is their culture.
no, no, your culture is fine, but your culture is not producing for you. Remember this culture thing? I'm asking the question: what is the good part of any Nigerian culture? Is it the way we marry our wives? Is it the way we treat our family resources? Is it the way we treat our community assets? Is it the way we treat the national asset? I mean, the culture, everybody has a culture, but the culture has to be relevant to where a lot of people in Nigeria should be able to feel safe and happy where they are. 95% of Nigerians today are people who wake up every day. I don't know, is the light going to be on? Is the policeman who is going to pull me over a real policeman? Am I going to get paid for the job that I do? If I retire, is my pension going to come on time? If I'm sick, where am I going to go get a treatment? Don't you see how many Nigerian rich people, every time they go to London or go abroad for medical treatment, especially the president?
Yes, I know, but I no. Let's. I mean, I know what you're saying about we're very tribal. That's very very true. And even when you look at what is going on in Nigeria today, you find many Yoruba people saying that if you don't vote for Ashiwaju Tinubu, you are a bastard, you are a letdown, you are a traitor. That kind of sentiments. That's
Mhm.
bull perky. As far as I'm concerned, that's rubbish.
That's how we see things. We see things from first from the tribal before we go to the national. The national doesn't exist in the mind of many Nigerians.
But that is where I am kind of I will disagree to a certain extent.
Mhm.
I think it's the leadership. Is
No,
the leaders are the ones who are separating Nigerians,
mm-mm.
not the Nigerian factor.
No, no, the Nigerians are the ones that want their leader to separate them. Look, what is the ratio? 36 men versus 200 million. Do the ratio. So that's one to whatever the number is. Do the
But but
ratio.
but it's not just the okay. I see where you're coming from, but then we go to the legislature.
Mhm.
We have all kinds of the representatives in the legislatures and all that. I mean, what it is I personally believe that the constitution, the Nigerian constitution, is the number one problem we have in that country. Even as good a man as Obi is, because I've met him on a personal level,
I
even
get it.
very,
Go
very,
ahead.
very briefly, the man, you, he seems genuine. And it's I don't know what's inside of him. I don't know if he's putting it up. I don't know if it's because he needs a vote. But there is something about Obi that makes me think that he could be the best out of the lot. I don't know. Ashiwaju is a man that has a track record, is a man that I believe can achieve a lot as well. But he has his own downsides, which I'm not going to mention because I don't want to seem to be, subjective. Atiku, I'm going to leave that alone as well. People who know Atiku says, he's a man who listens, he's a man who can unite Nigeria and this and that. And things are out there about Atiku why some people believe he shouldn't be president because of they will refer to what Obasanjo just said and all the rest. What's in the public domain there in Google. However, I still think that the leadership, because they've popularized Nigerians so much. I grew up in the era when everything was free, when Nigeria was a giant of Africa. When you mention the name Nigeria, even nations overseas kind of shake with respect. We were giving nations money, we were doing all sorts. But then they came and popularized so much the Nigerian nation that they were able to manipulate each and every one.
No, can I come in? I mean, I understand. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm on this show for you to hear my view. You prompt me, or for questions. Let me
Yes.
let me give you a classic definition of leadership.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with the family. If your parents tell you to do something, okay, it's an authority. Our parents are the first authority level. You have to do it whether you like it or not. Because if you don't do it, they will deny you what? They will deny you allowance. They can punish you. They can do. There are so many options available to them. That's authoritative. That's authority. Okay. But if you, as a child, were able to influence your parents to do something differently that will produce better outcome, that's leadership. The Nigerian people have a default understanding of what leadership means. They think it's their leaders that are supposed to tell them what to do. No, you're supposed to influence your leaders to do things that are beneficial to you and them. It's not the other way wrong. That mindset of Nigeria is what has enabled them for people to slap them and they turn the other cheek, step on their toes and they apologize for being stepped on that. I'm talking about the Commonwealth of Nigeria. Your leader, again, supposed to serve you and not starve you. I don't think you get that connection I'm saying.
I
They're
get it.
serving themselves and they're starving Nigerians.
I get it.
And Nigerians are putting up, you talk about the good time in Nigeria. What was that period? When naive Gawan went out and said, oh, Nigeria has so much money. It's all this fanfare, facade we put up. But if you really go into the stuff, Nigeria has never had it any good in such that it can maintain the brand. Okay? They have never had it any good because of the same thing going on, yielding to the people they have elected or appointed or who took over for them to tell them, okay, this is what you do. The people are not coming back and saying, no, 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 sir, you can do it. Even with the governors, you talk about the governors, the governors are even more powerful than the president because the House of Assemblies in all the states are very weak. None of them can stand up to the governor. The governor has the authority to appropriate, authority to spend the money. Any contract awarded at the state level has always been awarded by the governor. I mean, at least at the center, there's some sort of, the Senate and the House of Representatives can put some roadblock and push the president one day or the other. But at the state levels, they don't. So the biggest problem Nigeria has is where they say every politics is local, is with the state governors. I'll give you an example with the Igbo land. I'm a statistician. I'm a physical developer. I mean, real estate, economy development. So I talk about number in the sense that it makes sense. The 5 core Igbo states are the smallest tribal land in Nigeria. You could take all the size of land in Igbo states, the 5 Igbo states,
Mm-hmm.
and Niger State is bigger than it. Many northern states are bigger. Okay, since 1999. If you add up all the state allocations, that is money coming from the federal government through the state allocations and the constituency money they give to elected people from those parts,
Yes.
almost $100 billion over 23 years. Okay?
You mean that's gone to the
That allocation.
Igbo region?
No state has ever been denied money. The federal government sent their money. Okay? So for 23 years, if you add up all the state budgets by the 5 core Igbo states with those of their senators and the House members, which are considered constituency money, it's close to $100 billion. Now do the math. The entire Igbo state is less than 14,000 square miles. Okay? 14,000 is the most congested state.
Like math, yes.
Okay, let me give you the math because most Nigerians don't think about these things. They just jump up and down and scream, the Hausa man is doing this, Yoruba man is doing this, but they never really talk about what is happening within their own tribal land. If you divide the total amount of budget by the size of the land area, the Igbo states have had more money per square mile than the state of Texas have had during the same period. And there are no roads. There are no regional projects. The 5 Igbo states don't collaborate or cooperate to do any regional. The Igbo states are 50 miles, less than 50 miles from each other. Enugu to Abakaliki. Enugu to Oka, Oka to Owerri, Owerri to Okigwe, Okigwe to Abakaliki. That's it. You have covered the entire. In fact, you can go around the 5 Igbo states if you were in Texas, it's like linking in a loop in 1 hour. What has anything happened? Has anybody asked the Igbo governors, where are this money? What are you doing with it? We're not saying Obuopi, let me use the locals, Obuopi, Ifichimi, i.e., but you don't take the entire people's money. So that's the question. It's not all these other things. It's not about money. It's not about the goodness of a man. Nigerian government type is a benevolent. You know the word benevolent?
Yes.
Yes, your papa decide to do for you, your mama, your igwe. American democracy, if I were to do a simple analogy, is an agency democracy. And I can use the state of Texas because I've been appointed by every governor of Texas since 1995 in some government role. I'm an appointee of the governor of Texas. I'm a state appointee. I'm one of 5 that serve on the Texas Securities Board. You Google my name, you see that. But you know what? The governor of Texas has no cabinet. Those of us that serve in the roles appointed are considered his cabinet, but we are not in that cabinet level. We represent him at state boards and agencies. Texas has agency government. So when the budgets are made for Department of Transportation, Education, and the various other things, those agencies take care of that. But in Nigeria, the governor sits over the state budget. He decides what contract is awarded. Have you ever had a commissioner of education give contract to build a school in any state? No, it's the governor. The governor decides who gets what. So Nigerians are not being cognizant of this stuff. They're blaming the man at the center. They think if their tribal mind becomes the man at the center, all of a sudden the inefficiencies in the system is going to go away. It has not gone away because we have more than 20 years of experience with this current dispensation. Okay, I say Nigerians, I'm an American speaking about Nigerian issues. I'm not going to vote in that election. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just, because I have connection. You see, I have ties in Nigeria, but I'm not tied to Nigeria. And I go there every time. I have family members that are still there, but I'm not tied to Nigeria. I have ties to Nigeria. It would be good for me to see them succeed, to see them carry their water, as opposed to this constant, oh, we haven't been paid, the light is not on. By 6 o'clock everybody is in their walled compound because you can come out. Public safety, kidnapping, and all. Who as much as you may not want to be bothered by that, it's going to disturb you. And so you look at our currency devaluation. When Obasanjo was in office, 2005 and 2006 was the best time Nigeria made the most money selling oil. The record of oil revenue since it started being documented or kept was 1975. Okay. That's when they started documenting who's making much money, who's making whatever money from oil sales and stuff. So Nigeria made the most money, about up to $70-something billion in 2005, 2006. Okay, you would think with that kind of money, and Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the celebrated World Bank staff who now is at the World Trade Organization, you would think with such money and democracy and they would have stabilized the naira or figured out how to stabilize the naira. They have not. Since democracy came, naira has been losing value. When Abacha left office, naira was like 88 or 89, about less than $90, less than 19 naira a dollar. If you had 1 million naira when Abacha left, what is not Abacha, Abubakar, whatever his name is, 1999. If you had 1 million naira, you had an equivalent of almost $12,000 based on the exchange rate, the floating exchange rate. So if in 1990, let's just do the number. If in 1999 you're a Nigerian, you are retiring, you've been able to save 1 million naira in a savings account, okay? And you said, hey, I'm going to feed off the interest that money earns. Not everybody's going to invest. Most people are not sophisticated to invest because they don't want to risk the money. But let's say you put it in a bank, and the bank's supposed to pay you interest earned on that money, and that is supposed to, let's say 5%. That means you get 50,000 naira every year. With other things, most people can live off it. From From 1999 to date, 1 million naira has gone from where? Potential $12,000 to where it's less than $2,000. Anybody who is an economic development expert don't need any PhD in this field to figure out that this country is losing value and is losing it so fast. And no Nigerian talks about that. And you have had people that come from World Bank, you have had people come from England to go serve as finance minister. You have all kinds of PhD people throwing their weight around, but nobody has figured out how to stabilize the naira so that the Nigerian people can have a purchasing power that gives them decent living in their country. That needs to be addressed. It's not about the good man who is going to be the president. You know, if you are good, but you don't have the tools, you're not going to be good. So, like you said earlier, the constitution enables the malfeasance that happens in Nigeria, and they are not willing to address it. It's a foundational thing. If the foundation is not strong or right, the house ain't going to stand right. And Nigerians are afraid to admit that. Do we go back to regional government? Maybe. But how do you go back from now 36 overfed governors and senators and house members and one president? How do you now begin to shrink them to where it will go back? I have a family. In fact, I'm writing a paper I'm going to share with you. I don't want to talk about it. Is how Nigeria can migrate to this next level of government structure that will give the Nigerian a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose and detach the power given to the center that is being used to oppress Nigerians. I'm writing, I've thought it through. Okay? When you look at the Nigerian constitution, I mean, I can give you an American constitution, but I have a copy of it. It's like a hymn book. This is it. See how thick it is? That's American constitution. 13 articles and 20-something amendment. But go get a Nigerian constitution. It's like a Bible. It's very confusing. You have to simplify this thing so that even the individual who's not well versed in constitutional law can understand this is the role. So the Nigerian thing has been very complicated, and then the interpretation of it has also been very confusing. One time I was talking to Ike Kweremadu. He's my part of Enugu State is the district that he represents. I was talking to him, and he said something that he's a constitutional lawyer. I said, "What constitutional case have you ever won?" You can't say you're a constitutional lawyer. What case? Is it before you became, a senator that you became you won a constitutional law? Or what constitutional item have you ever written critically that meets your peer review, either in a journal of constitutional law? But they throw these things out and nobody challenges them. So, I'm giving him that example because I had a conversation with him. Now he's in London, waiting for his faith on whatever he's been accused of. So, but let's go back to Nigeria. I said Nigerians are the ones that enable the things that their leaders do to them. Because even from your family, a lot of Nigerians went to school because your papa said, then you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to study this. And most Nigerians force themselves. Nigerians are the people that go to school for their abilities, not necessarily for their interest. Okay? Because they want to impress somebody. That's why you have a bunch of people, who want to be doctors, pharmacists, engineers, because those are the sort of careers that carry weight, and they run abroad and they make money and they look good. But a whole lot of them do this because of their ability to study the book and take the test and move on. But that's not their interest because they don't want to disappoint their parents. When I came to America, my uncle was saying to me.
So you don't think those things are changing?
No, they're not changing because again, if the changing part, I'm saying if you have 1,000 Nigerians and you said, what would you study? And they said, okay, this, and they said, why are you studying that? A lot of them are going to tell you because my parents think I should do that.
But these days, my family used to be like that. Okay. My dad, my mom, okay, we know that's what happens. That's what obtains in Nigeria. The culture is you have to go to school, you have to become a lawyer, a doctor, whatever, architect, But these days, the parents, we have the parents now, and those that I'm familiar with in Nigeria, they don't even mind their children actually going into entertainment. For example, maybe singing, acting, Nollywood, or writing.
Yes, because back then when you and I don't know your age, I don't want to ask, don't tell me, but when I mean, I was a great soccer player. I played
Me
elementary.
too.
Yeah,
Me too.
I played elementary, secondary school, and then college, and even to even tell you, I was the team escort for the Super Eagles when they played in the 1994 World Cup in Dallas. I was the one who was responsible for them on behalf of FIFA, taking care of them. So, but I never looked at soccer as something I'm going to make a living out of. Okay,
Yeah,
but
me,
sometimes I
me too.
change it. But I'm just
My,
saying it's a default thing. It's a default thing. It's not a progressive thing. It's because now you see entertainers. They make money, and if I YouTube, your social media people that are posting stuff are making money, and so the Nigerian has been pushed to what is making money. What is making money? Go for it. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the interest that stay with them for a long time. The skill set that you need to
let,
build
let,
it.
let me tell you something. My son in England plays professional football, not at the highest level, but I'm praying that he gets to the highest level.
Mhm.
My daughter, and my children, I tell them, you know what? I'm not going to stop you from whatever you want to be. If you want to be a professional singer, or because I have one that her voice is, oof, I'm even trying to write songs for her or whatever. But I'm saying you still have to be educated. You have to go to school. Look at Serena Williams. Serena Williams is a mega star. She's a well accomplished, very, very, how can I put it? She's extremely talented and successful, but she homeschooled. Serena Williams, speaks Italian very, very well, speaks French almost fluently, and speaks English. And then she homeschooled her and her sister Venus. So I talk to a lot of my friends who have the same mindset. You can still be whoever you want to be. Like I said, my son is playing professional football now in England. But I told him, if you make enough money, whether you make enough money or you don't, you're still going back to school to get that education. You see what I'm saying? So I know what you're saying. My mindset is still for education because there's
Well,
this thing.
education you're talking about doesn't have to be where you have to go get a paper to say, hey, you have learned this. Let me tell you, it's 9% of Americans, 9% of Americans that have college degree, 9%, 22% college education. So what is the number? So the Nigerian chases education for paper. Okay, so that I'm something on the wall, I'm this and that. But effectively, they are not educated because if the education that he's talking about, has any relevance in the Nigeria, it should be able to help Nigerians solve their own national problems.
But that's where I go back to. Do you really, I'm one of those who don't really buy into, maybe I'm wrong because I go with this debate a lot on my WhatsApp groups. When people really want to shift the blame to the Nigerian kids, to the Nigerian youth, to Nigerians, I'm one of those that say, if you have a bad head, if the head is rotten, the body is gonna be gone. The
But,
body will be rotten because what
but it starts from the family. Let's not go to the governor. It starts from the family. It
but what
starts
am-
from the family. The
but
head, the first time, the youth you're talking about, the child you're talking about. Somebody has to be a child, a youth, before they become anything. So I'm just saying, let's go back and look at the history, the genesis of these people. What families were they coming from? What sort of knowledge? What sort of interaction? Accountability and responsibility. We push our kids, go to school, get me a degree, do this, do this. A lot of Nigerian kids don't have responsibility and accountability factors. They
Mr.
don't.
Okpa, sorry. I
Yes.
just want to let you know that I have a guest here.
I
He
see
was
him. I mean, Olakunle
Yeah, yeah.
Oregon. Yeah.
In case he wants to contribute, he's welcome. Thank you, Mr. Olakunle, for joining us. But yes, as I'm going on, Mr. Okpa, I know what you're saying, but I know that you're saying that okay, what about the family and this, and I'm not playing the devil's advocate now. This is what I strongly believe in. I think the leadership should be blamed. They destroyed everything.
I'm not avoiding the leadership. I'm just saying it's a two-way responsibility. Okay? It's a two-way responsibility. If you look at a battery, the battery of a car has a negative and is a positive. Until you have those two things working in unison, you don't spark the battery, the car don't move. So what are the negatives and positives of Nigeria? Where do we begin to look at? I mean, the president gets 24 hours like everybody else. The governor gets 24 hours like everybody else. In fact, they're supposed to be the people that have the most rest so that they can think through what they're going to do that will impact the people. But the Nigerians have deferred it to them. Oh, my kid is not getting admission to a university. You call the governor, you call the vice president, you get admitted. Oh, my.
Because it's the system, Mr.
Because
Okpa.
you know what I'm saying? You enable the system.
But
You
because
enable the
we
system.
don't have the structure that destroyed
No,
the
no, no, you wrote
structure.
the constitution. The Nigerians that wrote the constitution, they are not people that have
No,
elementary
no,
school.
the Nigerians were not involved in writing the
No,
constitution,
no, no,
Mr.
no. Who wrote it?
It was the military. It
The
was
military.
actually,
Wait. The military are still Nigerians.
well, you know how that goes.
Whether, let me tell you,
How
Ayo,
was
whether the
American?
Nigerian is in
How
Agbada,
was it?
whether the Nigerian is in Agbada or uniform, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of putting off the clothes and putting another one. You know, Obasanjo was there. Obasanjo was there as a uniform, as a military
but
uniform.
the man on the street has no power. At least in Nigeria they don't know
We
that.
are afraid of imagined power before it even gets to the real ones. We cannot. Let me tell you, when I went to Enugu State one time, let me tell you, because since 1999, I've been suggesting solutions to Nigeria. I will show you letters that I wrote to Abacha, then Chief of Army Staff, about how military housing. I wrote in 1989. I was not to be paid. When Nigerian banks were having problem, NDIC, I went home and I talked to the managing director. I said, I am doing this in America, the only Nigerian who, hey, how can I work with you guys? He was a Yoruba man who said, okay, fine, Igbo man, boom, they discharged me. So what I'm saying is a lot of these things comes from the fact that the Nigerians don't know how to engage their own elected people. Whether it is a cultural thing, a traditional thing, they have not. So when I was in Enugu some years ago, I went to the Speaker of the House. I asked him the question. I said, do you guys have a rainy day account? Do you have a mandatory provision in your annual budget that you must set aside a percentage of the budget for rainy day or general fund? He said, well, keep talking. And finally he said, and the speaker was Eugene Odo. Okay, when I talk about people, I give names and dates. Eugene Odo was the speaker. And then you know what he said to me? He said, well, why should I save money? So that if I save, somebody else will come and chop it. And I'm sitting there saying, if I were to have such a discussion with an elected official in Texas, in US, they will say, hey, Mr. Okpa, let's talk about it. Give me a concept. What are the costs and benefits? The Nigerians are quick to dismiss. Boom, he said, oh, no, that doesn't work. But if Enugu State, let me even give you a mathematical benefit. If any state government has said every year we have to save 1 or 2% of our state budget in a rainy day fund, you know what that would do for you? It will help you do your infrastructure. By now, a lot of Nigerian state government would have had an account that runs into the billion. They don't have accounts like that because this is is get and spend kind of culture. So we don't even listen to what can make what we are doing go longer.
Okay, Mr. Okpa.
Yes.
You've been making. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, but I'm just having problems with the fact that we're trying to shift the blame to the oppressed. Wait a minute.
Everybody is the problem in Nigeria.
Wait a minute, Mr. Okpa. You, as brilliant as you are, and I'm not just saying this. Like I said, I read a lot about from you, your articles, opinions. Even more than you know. But what I'm saying is this: Nigeria lost a brain like you. You could have had a state in the eastern part of Nigeria. You could have been an advisor to the president. Could have been an advisor to whoever you want to be an advisor to. I've had an opportunity of talking to you in the past about things that are going on in Nigeria, and I asked you, have you actually tried to connect with people in power and all that? And you said, well, no. Then
I
now
have.
you okay? Well, yeah. You said you have, but they won't listen. Sorry, my bad. But
Yeah.
then you are here in America. Like millions of the brains, well, maybe not millions, hundreds of thousands, definitely, of the brains that are scattered all over the world from Nigeria. So they are frustrating the brains out of Nigeria. Number one, the problem is not the people, the problem is the structure. And the problem and the structure are the politicians. And the problem with the structure is corruption. So it's a trickle down effect, and
Look,
it's so corrupt now. When the states were created in Nigeria, right? People left Western state when Ondo State was created, and it became 19 states. People left Western states, came to Akure,
Mm-hmm.
And they were civil servants, and they did not steal. Some of them took loans to build their houses, took loans to buy their cars.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, I don't want to mention names, my friends that were actually abusing their parents in the early 80s, mid 80s, that they didn't steal enough because now their parents couldn't afford much
Mm-hmm.
because Nigeria was nosediving. And now back then was even heaven. So it's a systematic
Yes.
decline
There's a
designed
saying. There's a
designed by the elites.
No, by it's both by design and default. There's this thing Igbo people say, and he said when a bad conduct is allowed to go on for a long time unchallenged, it becomes a tradition.
How could they have challenged it?
No. Look. I'm just saying the people that are doing these things to you are people you went to school with. They're your village man. They're your tribesman. Nigeria hasn't gotten to where especially in this political dispensation, where an Igbo man who has lived in Lagos who can become house member or a governor, or a Yoruba man who has lived in Sokoto can do that. We haven't gotten there because anytime you're going to do something, they're going to remind you your state of origin. Okay, so again, these are the problem. What I'm saying is that when people keep stepping on your toes, making you a doormat, how much deeper do you want to go in the ground? At what point do you say, okay, wait, this thing you don't do too much? Instead, we have found a way by default to celebrate them and beg them and plead with them. Let me tell you,
Because they've been pauperized. They've been pauperized.
No. Look. My brother-in-law was the first military governor of Gombe State, 1996. My sister, the same mama, the same papa, who senior me, was the first lady. I went home and said, congratulations. Okay? That was an opportunity for me to be, either go to Enugu State and become a commissioner or be recommended for something. I said, I don't like military government. I'm very vocal. I don't want to be in a meeting where a governor is celebrating party and salaries are not being paid. I'm going to say something and then it could jeopardize. I say, I left. I'm that kind of person. I never grew up a poor child, but I will never say that I'm the richest person. I never had a poverty mind. But what is happened? A lot of people say, hey, GK, go home. It's your people. I said, no. I say, in America, I have food on my table. After them, I will have food on my table before, because I earn money. I don't make money. A lot of Nigerians make money they have not earned. Okay? Because their person can be contractor, can be minister. I say, hey, you go from a construction company, you got to do this. Of all the contracts Nigerians have been giving to themselves, how many giant construction companies have emerged? None. Because it's a transactional thing. Once the governor leaves and the minister, the next person is coming in to do the same awarding to his or her own people. These are things that needs to be addressed. Nigerians know this. You go to Nigeria today, okay? Chinese people will come in. They get a contract and they bring their labor. The Nigerian Council of Engineers or the Nigerian Legal Council has never said, hey, wait a minute. We have this skill set. Why are you bringing China? Instead, the same people start running after the minister to beg for the Chinese to give them subcontract.
All right. Sorry. I like that. But the thing is this, right? I always say that it's back to corruption.
Yes.
Because, yes. But I want to give Mr. Olakunle Arogun the floor if he has anything to contribute to this program. Over to you, sir.
I'm sorry, I just joined and initially I couldn't hear what you were saying until like 2 minutes ago. So
okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, you got to listen to it at your own leisure.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So you may want to put the microphone a little bit closer to you because we couldn't hear you very well. But that's fine. So, but yeah, I would like to hear what your views are because Mr. Okpa,
Mm-hmm.
I am of the strong belief that unless and until the old cargoes are eased out of power and that constitution is rewritten,
yes,
we are going to continue to have a lot of problems.
Look at it. I'll give you two. Who is going to do it? And how is it going to be done? Was it not during Jonathan they had a constitutional review, blah, blah, blah? I think, what is his name? Ekweremadu was part of all of that. What came
Yes.
out of it? So what I'm just saying, again, you can't just be letting bad things keep going so that they have become tradition. Nigeria have allowed bad things to continue that is become tradition. Stealing from the government. Corruption is not just only to Nigeria. Okay? You have corruption, and then you also have incompetence. Okay? In America, we have corruption. But you're not going to have a contractor in America that will take public contract to build a road, build a substandard road, take the money and go to London to go live. It ain't going to happen. Even though they may have padded the contract, they may have gotten it in through means that you may say, oh, there's a corruption, but that road is going to be built. In the case of Nigeria, you can award the contract, you celebrate it, you get an inferior product, you get shoddy job, and the person vanishes. Okay? And Nigerians hail the person. They, oh my God, he's a big man. Oh, look at his house in the village. You look at his kids are in school abroad. That is a Nigerian mentality, because every Nigerian is a thief in waiting. Let me just say this. Every Nigerian is a thief in waiting. He's waiting, hey, when is my turn going to come so that I can do more than the man who just left? Because we haven't come to where we say asking the critical questions. Question, Oga or Madam, where is this money coming from?
Mr. Okpa, I beg to differ from that statement.
Okay, that's fine.
I know what you're saying. Maybe many. I wouldn't even say most. I have my brother here, Bolarutimi. We came from the same area. I've been knowing him forever, and I can tell you, his parents, my parents, and I think him and
exceptions do not make it statistically. There are exceptions in everything we do. There are what they call outliers. I'm just saying majority of Nigerians. Yes, of course. Look, if I was somebody who was greedy, okay, my father left me a bunch of, look, go to Enugu State, just land in Enugu and say, Opa, they will take you to my father's village. I left all of that. My sister, they gave me land in Abuja and in Enugu. I rejected it. I said, I am too sophisticated to take anything. Okay, that's me, but I'm an exception. Most people would have jumped to the opportunity. So let's not talk about the exceptional Nigerians.
I disagree. You know why I disagree? Okay. Because Nigeria of where we grew up, right, back in the day, things were not like that. We have many decent men in power.
You don't look at the world in a rear view mirror. Okay, all these Nigerians, give me a period of time. Is this 70 to 75? Is this 75 to 80?
But Mr. Okpa,
you're talking about the 50s.
But if we're going to resolve a problem, if we're going to solve a problem, right?
Yes.
We have to look at the history.
But how far do you look back?
I'm just saying that
let's bring it back. Let's bring it back.
Listen, Mr. Okpa, I understand what you're saying, and I know that you're passionate about this. So am I. But the issue is this, right? If you think back to those days, back in the day when Nigeria wasn't this way, our parents were very, very, decent people. They wouldn't steal, they wouldn't say anything. But then they had that mindset. You understand what I'm saying? They had the mindset. But now the mindset started to change when Nigerians became to be pauperized. In fact, it started like in 1978, shortly after the Festac, shortly after Festac 77. And when Obasanjo was planning on handing over power into Shagari, when Shagari made
Obasanjo got money to buy new buses, he buy used ones. Okay, look, let me tell you, I'm married to a Yoruba woman. I'm married to a Yoruba woman. If a man comes to destroy my family, to take my wife from me, guess who I'm going to blame? Me, for creating the condition that allowed the man to come in. People are going to take advantage of you when they size you up. Nigerians are not very defensive of their country. They always yield. Oh, this is the reason. The Chinese are coming. The Indians are coming. These are coming. These people are not invading Nigeria. They are invited. So when do the Nigerians stand up to defend their country from their home? I say it. I'm married to a Yoruba woman. Okay? In fact, I don't even understand any iota of Yoruba. But that's my love. If anybody wants her, you're going to have a fight in your hand. Not because I'm a perfect husband, but that means you have overlooked me. You have done this to me to even want to do it. I will crush you. That's what I'm saying to Nigerians to do. Forget the history. Look at your own. Everybody has a country. You can have a dual citizenship. But what is the sense of defense for you. You sit there, China. How many Nigerians have gone to China and won contracts? Gone to India and won contracts? Gone to Lebanon and won contracts? Gone to Turkey and won contracts? But these people will come to Nigeria with a plastic bag, and the next thing they are controlling Nigerians, and Nigerians are there lining up, begging them.
Which takes me back to the point I made earlier, Mr. Okpa. Like I said, I know you're very passionate and you are upset about what is going on in your country. I know that you are
my country of birth. My
your
country of
yeah,
birth.
that's what I said. That I know that you're
Yeah,
American.
I'm an American by choice.
I know, and I know that you are, you're an American politician. So let me say that. But I'm just going to say to you, yeah, I know I'm an American myself, so I know how I say. But still, this is my country of birth. This is a country where I love so much. I love America. Don't get me wrong. Me myself, I'm married to an American. You understand what I'm saying? But this is my. I just can't separate it. But what I'm saying is this, right? We shouldn't. I still maintain it, right? We had fella fighting. We had yes, some people will say you didn't vote for Fawaimi, Gani Fawaimi, he didn't win his state when he wanted to be president or what, but we know how these people work. What happened to Abiola who won? He was killed. He was murdered.
Abiola was in the pocket with the people that turned against him.
I know,
but
what I'm
you
saying,
cannot be dining with a scorpion and not expect them to sting you. So
hold on, Mr. Okpa. What I'm exactly, you're proving my point for me. What I'm saying in essence is this: the federal government in Nigeria, since they made it unitary, is so powerful that not only will they rig, even when you win openly, blatantly, in the eyes of the world, they can crush you.
Don't vote. You know what? All these people that are president and governors, they won't be that if Nigerians are not there. So what is your resistance? What do you do to counter them, except to always say, oh, they are doing this, they are doing this? I'm just saying, okay, for any election, they're not going to vote, they're not going to do whatever they're going to do, then don't vote. If they invite you to a party, wait a minute, Nigerians that you are saying this, when they are invited to the man who has stolen for them to come and dance, like a Yoruba people who do all one day on the street and dance all this stuff, they'll still go show up, like the Igbos. You see, we haven't come to where we have a value system that says, okay, the money you are spending is our money. Thank you, I am not coming. To come and eat your rice one day, and then for 360 something days, I'm doing it by myself. I don't need your rice. There's a way you begin to send message to these people, and they know you are no longer. You can do revolution. Countries have done it. You can do whatever that is available to you. But until the Nigerians start to stop celebrating people that are doing these things to them, okay? Stop celebrating them. Okay, all of the ministers, look at ASU. ASU has been on strike for as long as it has been. Is any of the families of the ministers and governors concerned their kids are abroad? And whose money are they using to sponsor their kids abroad? Your money. And then each time they go to graduation, they post a picture, Rotimi Amechi in London with this kid, this minister over there, and Nigerians are saying, oh my God, that's what I want to do. Heck no. My mom used to ask me, Ejike, how many times will things happen to you for you to wisen up? You cannot slap me and I turn the other cheek. You cannot step on my toe and I apologize for you doing it. All I'm just saying is learn to defend your position and remind that person who wants to abuse you because they think they can do it. Enough is enough. Nigerians haven't gotten there yet.
Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Arogun.
Yeah, I was just gonna buttress on this point, as in these things are not just happening today anyway. You mentioned someone like Gani Fawehinmi. If Gani Fawehinmi wanted to be councillor in his constituency, he couldn't have been because you have to be you have to be there has to be a way you be to be a politician in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Femi Falana could not be governor in Ekiti State, and it was told by the leaders in the state that you cannot be governor in the state because you don't know how to spend money, you don't know how to spread money. If you become governor, you wouldn't know how to steal money for you to favor people that are working for you now and stuff. So we have always had this problem in Nigeria. We're still having this problem in Nigeria. Up till now, it has become worse. If Wale Soyinka wants to be anything in in a city, in our town or something, it might not emerge because people know politics of money in Nigeria. It's just that way. It's no other way. So
You know, you know,
they
look, all those things. Every one of us here is nobody. I don't think is less than 40 years old. We have a huge knowledge about Nigeria. I'm about that person. I'm about solution. I'm about going forward. Okay, my thing is, what do we need to do to go forward?
Okay, before we go there, sorry, Mr. Okpa, we're coming to. He's the main guest. We're just kind of moderators, and we have views that we're going to share. Bola, please, do you have anything to add to what you've been hearing?
For me, I think can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For me, I think Nigeria has both leadership and followership deficiencies. We've got the problems on both sides, right? Now, just like Mr. Okpa has been saying, we need to challenge the leadership, as it were, in terms of questioning what they are doing. Until we rise up to that level, you cannot change things. Things can never change until we rise up to that level. Now, there is somebody, you cannot be part of the system and change the system because you are benefiting from the system. Definitely, you wouldn't want to change that system. That's the way it is. For you to change the system, it has to be somebody who is from outside of that system. Do you understand what I'm saying? You cannot expect the APC government, the PDP government, to change the system, as it were. And we've been talking about restructuring. They are benefiting from the present warped federal system of government that we have. So why would they want to do a constitutional review that would take away the powers from them, or that will reduce the amount of money they are going on with every month? It's not going to happen.
But
I
like what you're saying. I want to recognize you because my sister-in-law's name is Bola, and then my brother-in-law's name is Rotimi. So I'm in good hands with all the Yoruba people. You guys cannot treat me anyhow. But again, what you're saying, makes sense. The sense of resolve has to come from us.
It does.
Look. There is no tribe or what is it called, political zone in Nigeria that is a model to each other. It's the same story. Story. I was in Ibadan January this year because my parents-in-law still live there. And I go there, and then so of course my in-laws are still in Kaduna. I was in Kaduna, and I went to the have you guys been to the Nigerian where the amalgamation thing was signed? It's in Kaduna. I forgot the name there, and I went over there. And I was like, oh my God, it's like a dungeon, unkept. So you go around Nigeria physically. When I go to Nigeria, I go by road because I want to see what is on the ground. I want to travel from Enugu to Lagos, to Kaduna to see what is on the ground, not the flight. The reason for that is it gives me the informal education in order for me to pause and say, what is going on? Federal universities. Look at every infrastructure. There are sectors of an economy. What are the glaring examples for Nigeria? Is it in the banking? Is it in healthcare? Is it in where? We talk about these things as if it's imaginary. It is real. So what I'm saying, going back to what every one of us here has in mind, how do we change this? One time, okay, I want to take up the issue. I wrote a paper, how Nigerians abroad. Okay, that the Marines said the very few good men and women can make a difference. But you know what has happened? Anytime you want to do it, somebody begins to say, oh, it's my trice man. Oh. Do you know, have you heard what they call RICO? Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organization. Any one of us here can file a paper. That's what they call the onus of proof. So if a Nigerian politician has money or anything in America, you can file a case in a federal court against that particular asset. Let him or her come and prove how they get the money. How many Nigerians are willing to do it? They would, because once they come, oh boy, you don't go Nigeria, they go kill you. Oh boy, so we begin to put fear in front of where we can say, you know what? Hey, nobody bleeds water when they are caught. But the Nigerian fear factor is huge. In London, look at all the people that are. Where's Dizani? Where's Dizani Madeke? Where is she? Isn't she not in London? Of all the money they said, where is Etete? Is he not somewhere in Europe? What are we doing? And then the lady who served the Buhari for finance minister, the day she ended her job, the next day she was in the plane going back to London. So Nigeria has become this, eat your cake and have it. Two timing, one leg in, one leg out. If I were be a Nigerian president, no minister's kids will go to school. In fact, I will have a code of conduct, okay? Where are your kids going to school? If your kids are abroad or your wife is abroad, you're not going to serve this country. We want people that are dedicated, committed to be there physically, okay? And I'm president. If I'm sick, I'm going to go to a hospital in Nigeria, not abroad. These are things you have to put in place. You begin to hold it. But Buhari, how many times has Buhari gone overseas for medical checkup? The reason Alison Madeke left was, when the things happened, she has cancer, she has to go medical, and the federal judge allowed her to leave. Hey, all of us live in America. I don't know where you live, Bola. But for those you go to court and you say, okay, your Honor, I'm sick. I need to go to Mexico to get treatment. Really? These are things we need to start to tell Nigerians. You have seen people, military people that took money. What was that? The GOC in Sokoto who stole so much money, and then when they put him in court, he was in he was in a wheelchair. Okay, fine. When you were stealing the money, were you in a wheelchair? Fine, we're going to keep you in the wheelchair and we're going to haul you into a prison there. This is what Nigerians have to do. The way the diaspora Nigeria, remember, let me tell you, when the first Nigerian came to America?
When?
1918. 4 years after amalgamation, it was a man from Calabar. After that was the Yoruba man and then Zeke. I'll send you all that document. The first time Nigeria was entered in the immigration law, Register of America, was 1918. 104 years. Has any Nigerian here become governor, senator, house member? We celebrate all the accomplishment, PhD, masters. This. We don't have any political clout in this country until we engage the political system and have a clout and begin to work with these elected Americans, some of us we went to school with, and say, hey, this is what is going on. We cannot effect a change. The Nigerians think because you send $9 at home remittances and amenable like Igbos, you build a mansion, they give you local chieftaincy title. That's not what America wants. You have to engage the political system of where you are and look at the laws to prevent what is going on so that you can make a law. You can ask Congress that if any Nigerian who has a citizenship is part of money illegally coming from Nigeria, they lose their citizenship. Because a lot of Nigerians that are here are colluding with the people at home to do this stuff. We, the decent Nigerians, can begin to rally with our political structure, submit bills. Any Nigerian who does that, they're going to lose their citizenship, they're going to go to jail, and they're going to be deported. That's law. Laws don't exist until the individuals who have been negligently affected introduce it.
But so I agree with a lot of things you said. Let me just come in really quickly, and I would like Bola and Kunle to say what they think about what you've been saying. But the thing about it is this: even the American system as well, like in Britain, in Britain mostly, and America as well, many of the wealth, or most of the wealth, not most, a lot of the wealth here is from overseas.
But they come in through an investment vehicle.
Exactly, but America will look. Even if you apply, my point is they look aside. They look sideways because that's the money they're using to lend.
You cannot say that more money coming to America that Americans themselves generate. Look,
no. That's not what I'm saying. That's why I said maybe Britain more in Britain than here. But don't let it let us get it twisted. It doesn't matter. It is America's interest first. So whatever money that is coming from Nigeria or Africa,
we're Americans. If you go to the president, if you go to your senator, if you go to your house member and allege, and you know what? Go look at it. Is it called forfeiture law? No. Go Google it. Forfeiture law. The onus of proof is on the accused. So
my brother, I do that. I've engaged. Believe me or not, I've engaged. Mr. Ajayi. Okay, sorry. I've done that a few times. I'm telling you. I've reached out to my senator, I've reached out to my representative.
What's the governor of Delta State? What is his name? The guy who was in London.
Ibori.
Okay, wait. his house that was sold by American government in Houston. It wasn't the Nigerians in Houston that did it. Go Google it. American government seized his asset. Okay, so there are examples. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, where is the diaspora Nigeria in the forefront or the vanguard to make sure, okay, if you bring money from Nigeria, because we know this money is not ghost, these are people that are bringing it. If you do this, here's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Look. In 1995, I wrote then Governor Bush, okay, about deregulating the telecommunication industry. Because at the time, if you remember, if you call an area code that is different from yours, it was international long distance.
Yes, they charge you
Okay?
for it.
I was frustrated because calling Nigeria at the time, you say hello, $2 have gone. And I wrote him. Then we got to do, he replied me. Hold on one second. He replied me. This is the letter. Okay? For somebody who was not a citizen, out of complaint, he replied me a law was passed. And he wrote me back thanking me for my insights. That's what citizens do. He said, oh my God. And that's when I got on his list before he even became president. We have to teach our people how to engage and voice what it is they need to their elected people. We don't want for the elected people, like Bola said, or you said, the people are benefiting from the default of Nigerian character. No. We said, okay, yeah, everybody steals. I mean, come on, people will steal from you. But how can it be that they're stealing from you all the time and you have no way to counter them? That's what I'm telling Nigeria. For those of us abroad, if we have a formidable organization, not this diaspora, where you go is all about birthdays, all about celebration. That's why I don't go to Nigerian events. I don't go. I'm about policy. I'm about engaging the system. I'm about putting facts. Americans, if you put enough information in front of them, they will go with you because you know what? They want a credit. This is what I help them do. How many Nigerians have engaged their local political class? In Houston, where you live, okay? How many Nigerians have won city council election, county election?
All right. Thank you. I see Mr. Rotimi wanted to say something. Go ahead, Bola.
Sorry. Yeah. What I wanted to say, what I actually want to say is that, you see, for us in Nigeria, it's a mindset that we need to change. Right. We need to change our mindset about our nation, because the tendency is there for you to think about yourself first before the next person. But you see, we have to change our mindset about how we want Nigeria to be. I'll give you an example. And I think sometimes around 2012 or thereabouts, we had something with the state government. Was a geographic information system implementation. Now, this was a project initiated by the government itself, right? That would help them to automate their land administration systems and all other things involved. Along the line, it was the people within the ministries that were frustrating the project. Now, this is a project that would fetch the state government money, revenue, continuously, forever and ever, as long as they're upgrading their system, right? The people from the ministry were the ones frustrating, and the government itself that initiated this particular project suddenly developed cold feet and was not supporting the project anymore. They only came back to fund the project, a project that was supposed to be a year, lasted about 12 years. They only came back to fund the project when it was dependent on them getting World Bank. I mean, the WHO rather, because the World Health Organization needed the platform. They wanted to see that platform before they give them money. That's when they came back. Now, that's what I'm trying to say, that look, our mindset has to change. You understand? Now, look, we need to develop this land first so that we can all benefit from it. It's not that me, myself, and I alone is the one who's going to chop all the money. No.
Bola, let me add to what you said. If you want to get any contract, take a white man. Even if he's a GED. You live in Nigeria?
No, I live in Canada.
Okay, so even if he's a GED is like a school site or something. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just take a white man, dress him up, go to Nigeria, straight to the government house. They will open the door. We are the only people that do that. At the airport, you could see Nigerians wanting to let some white people come through the immigration and say, okay, come. They wouldn't even do this for you. So there's, like I said, you go into the mindset. We don't defend Nigeria. Nigerians think it's a country to be expended. Whatever you can do to get out. But until we begin to speak to that, no, I've asked the question: how many Nigerians have won contract in China, in India, Pakistan, Lebanon, Turkey? Go to those countries and mess up, they will throw you into jail. But as soon as they show up in Nigeria, oh my God! If these are not even white people. These are like white look-alike. But you see, so we have subjected our mentality to where everybody now thinks they can jump on us and get whatever they want, and we'll be the one healing them. How many Chinese people have gone to jail in Nigeria for abusing Nigerians? How many? Go to China and see how many Nigerians that are locked up. So there's a lot of things that are mentally wrong with us because we take sides or we think we cannot do this. That's why I said there's got to be a new and improved set of Nigerians. The new and improved set of Nigerians are the people who have the fortune of living outside, not the ones who are getting all kinds of money and sending money home. Out of this number, find that very few good people who can write, who can speak, who are bold enough, who have the PhD. You know what I call the PhD? It's not the doctor of philosophy. Passion, hard work, and dedication. Most Nigerians don't have it, even when they have the PhD. We have to find those people, regardless of their ethnicity, to bind under this umbrella and brand of Nigeria and begin to engage from outside. Again, it's a money thing. I don't care if the money they're sending to Dubai. If you send money to England, we're going to find you. And we do it on behalf of Nigerian people, not Nigerian government. And that is when these political people will rally for you and they make it happen. We can introduce the law. We can write the law in a raw draft manner and they will refine it. And we go public with it. If you're Nigerian and your money comes to America and you're a Nigerian that participate in that wire transfer, guess what? You go into jail. And we make it part of America. We embrace it. But America is not going to do it for us. But we're Americans. Or Canadians. What is the value of the passport if you cannot even make it work for you?
You are very correct, Mr. Okpa. But I would like Bola to continue with.
Sorry, Bola, I wasn't an interruption.
No. What I'm saying is, wait a minute, Mr. Okpa. It's because of what he said earlier. Because I'm referring to the points you just made now. Because he said that those in power is not in their benefit to change the system. Please go ahead, Mr. Rotimi.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because they are benefiting from the system as it is right now. So there's no motivation for them to change it, such that at the end of the day, they will not be able to acquire that which they are acquiring at this present point in time. So for that change to come, it has to be from outside of the system. That's what I'm trying to say. Yes.
Who are the outsiders? You and I. The new and improved. In America, have a phrase that says new and improved. Who is going to bail the cat? Let me tell you, after the World War, okay? First one and the last World War, okay, 1940 something. Who were the people that rebuilt Europe? The Europeans who came to America and became white people. Because they're no longer looking at it as Italian, Irish, German. It became white. Before then, nobody was talking about white. Okay, they were nationality and ethnicity. They went back and told Germany, that's why you have American military bases over there. That's why you have some in France. That's why you have over there. You can't do this, you can't do it anymore. Boom, they shut them down. And because by 1945 or 44, when the war ended, by 1960, a lot of Europe was physically rebuilt. Because of what? American might. You can't do this anymore. Who are the people that are going to go to Nigeria or Africa? It's got to be Black Americans or Black Canadians who have what it takes mentally, not the money. Nigerians celebrate money. Nigerians love money to where even if you are doing credit card fraud or medical fraud and get it, we want people who have the mental strength, who can speak before Jesus and God and say, I am doing this on behalf of my people. And if Jesus doesn't even like it, I say, Jesus, I'm sorry, you are awake. You are aware where slavery was going on. You didn't do anything. God, you are aware about slavery. You didn't stop the thing. This is human intervention. We should stop looking for divine intervention. It's going to be those very good men who are going to risk it and speak boldly. Because once we can make an example with the Nigerian politician whose money is in America or whose money is in UK, guess what? They're going to start running. They say, the Nigerians in America or in Canada or in US are new and improved. Right now, we want to go home and take chieftaincy title. We want, I mean, I'm an Igbo guy. I go to Igbo event and people are Igbo, and I say, you left Nigeria to come to America to be chief. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? What's that going to do for you? Because we are playing the same role. We are playing the same role people at home are doing.
I love this man. It's very fiery.
No. Look, my father was a chief. People call me prince. I said, don't call me anything. I don't need to do those titles. My name is EJK. EA Okpa. I don't put letters before or after my name. I want to promote that brand. So you will never see, I don't wear Igbo clothes. You will never see me with that thing they put red, whatever they put in their head, or Ishiago. No. I want to be a simple man who, when I see injustice, I'm going to fight it regardless of where it's coming from Nigeria. I will fight for Nigeria with policies, with legislation, but I'm not going to fight for Nigeria because it's benefiting a Yoruba man.
So let me say this. Let me say this.
One thing.
No, but go ahead.
We're going to need a rallying point if this is going to happen.
Yes.
You understand? We're going to need a rallying point. Somebody has to be the one to bear the cat, to stand at the forefront. Yes. Being able to motivate
Sign me
motivate
up.
people, convince people, win people to his side, such that they buy into this new project before you can now sell it.
It's us. Remember?
That's the only way it can happen.
Go read the book.
Something is coming to my head. Sorry, Mr.
Go read the book. Go read
Something is coming to my head now before I forget. Please, This is highly interesting because I respect Bola's views. Maybe he doesn't know, but I that's why I invited you, and I invited Mr. Arogun as well. I even invited 2 or 3 more people, to join us. So going forward, I'm just thinking, if you guys are okay with it, if you have time, I know I can always get Mr. EJK. I want us to sit down and, this is not scripted. We just talk, we just chat, we just, whatever, because
tell me when to show up. I buy the ticket. I am, like people say, I don't know large in America. Okay. When I'm convinced about it, I will spend my money to do it. I just want those people who are non-tribal Nigerians, okay, who's going to say, this is not working. I'm not doing it to benefit Igbo, Yoruba, outside anybody. This is for the entire, 99% of Nigerians, I have said this many times, wake up every day and they're like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with the people that look like me that are abusing me? And those of us that are abroad who are supposed to be the new and improved are doing what? Joining the people, celebrating them. When I see a Nigerian in America dressed like a traditional ruler, I was like, who gave you the visa?
That's why I invited
They gave the wrong people visa.
That's why I invited Mr. Okpa, this gentleman here. I invited them because
fiery. We need people that will challenge. My father was a chief. In 1990, I went home. I said, Papa, stop. I said, Papa, you've done this thing. Let somebody else do it. And my father couldn't. That's why I'm one Nigerian in my age. I had a very good relationship with my father. Because I was able to engage him. I said, Papa, forget this chief stuff. I said, I will sponsor you. I will take care of whatever else you need. Let some of these other people. Yeah, I said, you did the chieftaincy when the chieftaincy had respect. Don't do it. That's why in my family today, I will not use the title chief. It has been retired, like you retire the jersey of somebody. If any of my siblings ever answer chief, I will not talk to them. Because I want to respect the way my father did it. So what I'm saying is that these things have to start from the family. We have to, physics. Physics, when you drop a pebble, it has to, the wave gets stronger from the closer it is to you and move forward. You cannot.
Okay, let me throw this out here. I know people are watching us. Maybe we don't have many counts. I know people will watch us, but I want to let Bola and Miss Olakunle Arogun know that if you guys don't mind, we can actually come here on, maybe even every Saturday we can bring in new guests and all that. Maybe we can actually start something like this, where we bring in guests and we just talk generally. It's non-scripted. Whatever is coming up. But before we do that, I will contact you personally and we talk about it. I can always get to Mr. EJK any day, anytime. He doesn't sleep. He sleeps at 1 a.m., wakes up at 4.
I'm married to Yoruba people. I'm still paying my dowry. So don't say
He's riding his bike and all that, so I can always get him. But moving forward, we'll continue with this. We'll arrange something solid that I want this panel.
if I give them my number, Ayo, share my number with them. Okay?
I will.
I'm a personable guy, but I don't do travel stuff. I don't do any. I want something that is good for the overall Nigeria. When I go to Lagos and land and look at people that look like me, and you could see on their face, that the spirit has deserted them. I say, God don't hate you. Your fellow Nigerian hates you. It has nothing to do with God. God is not going to make an exceptional trip for the black race or Nigerian. All this God or Jesus, so boo 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 boo. Fine.
Okay, Mr. Okpa, I understand what you're saying. So I think we have 15 more minutes. Yeah, but I want to now moving forward, because we're coming back here, we're going to talk more about this. It's going to be like 1.5 hours because I know people who are watching, blah blah blah. But let me say this, right? What do you think before we go? Because I want to ask this, and I want Bola's input, and I want Mr. Arugo's input as well. What do you think is going to happen in 2023? What do you think about the 3 major candidates with respect to all other candidates, with respect to them? But we know that Obi, Atiku, and Tinubu are the leading candidates for 2023. What do you think? 3 minutes. Mr. Okpa.
Okay, look, I wrote something, and now you read it. I said the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So,
I was laughing when I read it.
So you could choose the good and the bad and the ugly in this whole thing, and any one of them can fit that description. Peter Obi is good. He's mobilized. He looks good. Everybody thinks, okay, he's likely the man who's going to win it. He has no blemishes, and he's not a saint. He has some stains. So what Nigerians have to now look at is the amount of stain each person has. But here it is. Let's make this permutation. Let's say Peter B emerges, okay, president. Okay, is he going to have members of the House of Representatives that are Labour Party members and senators? Because if he's just a one-man show, you can do this as the governor, but you can't do it as president of Nigeria. You needed the support of the House and the Senate to get your bills, because you can't just be unilaterally in your power doing things. In fact, they will impeach him as soon as he's sworn in. Okay, so we have to look at what are the chances of that happening. But that's what I have said to Peter B and his people chanting for him. Let Peter's popularity begin to be beneficial to other people under the Labour Party, so that they too can win. He's already there. So let people start campaigning for other candidates in every state. I need you people. I can't do this alone. If he makes it look like he's the one who's going to do it alone, he will not be president.
Thank you. Mr. Arjimi, over to you.
Well, for me, my own view about 2023 is that, right, we have all the 3 of them, Tinubu, Obi, and Atiku are the front runners. But you see, a party, the way Nigerian elections happen is that the party has to be national in terms of being on ground, in terms of structure, in terms of membership, in terms of reach. You understand? Labour Party is a small party when it comes to politics in Nigeria, as it is. It's only the PDP and APC that has got that reach. You understand what I'm trying to say now? Now, coming to the individuals, Atiku, he himself, I believe, for me, his body language shows that he's not even sure in himself. He's not sure of himself. He's not sure. He's just trying it because he wants to have that title president, but he's not even sure whether he's going to get there. Now, the 2 determined individuals that I know that want to be president are Tinubu and Obi. But now, if you look at the individuals in terms of what they have done, in terms of the capacity the party has to mobilize and the structure they have on ground, Tinubu has an edge over Obi. Just like Mr. Okpa said, Obi cannot become president, and you have maybe only 5 members of your party in House of Rep and 5 members of your party in Senate, and you think you'll be able to make things happen. It's not going to happen. That's the politics of Nigeria for you as it is now. Now, they all have their shortcomings. They all have their negatives, right? They all have their negatives. But for me, I'm not going to vote. I don't care where the person comes from. But as long as you have the capability and the capacity to do the right thing for Nigeria. But between Obi and Tinubu, that which I know is that we know it has been proven and tested. Tinubu has the capacity to build a team that can deliver. If he can do it at the center, it's a different ballgame entirely. You understand? He has that vision. He has that vision. He has that particular vision to put things in place such that it's a vision you run with. Can he deliver that at the center? It's left for us to know. We do not know. You understand? Obi, yes. But you see, those who are shouting Obi now on social media, on that day, they are not the ones that are going to be on the streets voting. That's just the sad part of it. They are not going to be the ones on the street on that day voting. Unfortunately, that's just my own view about it. But I don't care who is going to be there as long as the person can move Nigeria forward. Imagine changing the Canadian dollar to a naira at 520 naira to a dollar. It's way out of this world.
Yeah.
So that's just my own analysis.
Thank you.
Situation.
And okay, thanks a lot. What about Mr. Arogun? What are your thoughts?
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, Tinubu is running fine. I can say like 1,000 things against him now. But if the other people are not doing what they're supposed to do, then there's nothing anybody can do about it. It is the duty of every Nigerian who wants Obi to be there to work for him. And like Mr. Okpa said, at every level, not just bringing Obi in because he will not survive that heat. He's not going to survive. As far as the three of them are concerned, I agree with Mr. Rotimi that Atiku does not seem like he's ready. So between Obi and Tinubu, I went to a federal government college. I don't look at tribe. I don't look like religion or something. I went to the school in the north, and I will merge with anybody as far as you are not doing evil. I will merge with anybody as far as you're not doing evil. If I was in Nigeria today, I will not vote for Tinubu. I can waste my vote on Obi because I believe in the man as an individual, but I don't know what he's going to do on the national stage. As it is now, we'll just hope for the best, and I don't know. I just think everybody as a Nigerian, we have an input in this. It's not just about the politicians. Even if we are talking about having a solution eventually, we have to reorientate everybody, Nigerians as individuals. Because if you ask a young boy now, 5, what he wants to be in future, he will tell you he wants to be a Yahoo.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we start that from? We're talking about solutions now. Where does that kind of boy's orientation start from? What is he seeing around him? Eventually they will go to the polls and vote and everything. Maybe money is going to determine who's going to win this thing again. That's where Nigeria is.
You know, I wish Nigeria well. Like Bola said, I'm not going to be voting over there. The last time I voted in Nigeria election was 1979. You know, I was still in Nigeria in college and stuff like that. But again, a lot of us, a part of us is attached to that country because of heritage and family. So it gives us a concern. You know, my 2 kids don't feel about Nigeria the way I do. I mean, and you can see the longer the family grows, you know, they're going to be more detached. But for those of us who have physical understanding, physical this in Nigeria, that's why we wake up. That's why we are concerned. And so that concern is what is making us. How can we help those people there in order to make it work for them? You know, I have no intention of returning to Nigeria. I will never go there to live. I'll go visit family until I'm not able to buy my ticket. But the point is, you know, if you look at every other immigrant that came, again, look at Europe. The stability in Europe today is because of the Europeans who came to America and became white people. Which country in Africa or Nigeria, as an example, because a lot of us have that ancestry there, can we stabilize using our presence in the world developed economy? It's not a perfect, America is not a perfect nation, but it's one that we know our governor is not going to take our money and go live in Mexico. Our president is not going to go to England to go medical treatment. You know, if you're corrupt and you steal money, a lot of them keep it in America. They're not taking it. Very few might go to Switzerland, but they chase you. So we're not saying no nation is going to be perfect, but it is such an insult on the intelligence of every Nigerian that you see your president, your governor, the children from those families flashing in front of you, graduated from some of them, the universities they even graduate in this Europe are where universities. They're not even intellectually strong universities. Okay, but fine, they are graduating and they're flashing it in front of you, while your own local universities are being run down. You know, Obasanjo went and built a presidential library. Most Nigerian universities don't even have a library. And you're asking him, excuse me, what is this all about? So we have to start doing these things. It's not about the individual. The black race celebrates individual accomplishments while there are no institutions behind it. We have to migrate. It's about the university, the public universities in Nigeria. It's about the roads in Nigeria. It's about the water. It's about the public safety. It's about the economy. You know, not about a man who has a water well and 5 generators, you know, NEPA on top of, you know, generator on top of it. That's not what a successful nation does. Or your wife lives in London and the husband lives in another part of the country. That's this Yoruba guy who came here to brag to me one time. Oh, you know, I live in Nigeria and I come to visit my wife. I say, oh boy, successful families don't have their wife in one end of the world. They all live together. So hush, be quiet. The man shut up. I said, oh, you think marriage is just the physical, you come together and make baby. How about companionship? How about support system you give to each other? Nigerians are the ones that think, oh, Chinelo is in Germany, Ikenna is in Japan. Is that a family? In America, successful family kids don't move too far from their family. They stay around because there's a continuity and a relay race. Okay? Somebody's going to die and we're all going to die. Who do you hand over? But Nigeria is where, you know, everybody, oh, they brag about being abroad. Which abroad? We have seen it for centuries and it has not worked. The first power plant that was built in Nigeria was 14 years after America built their first power plant. The first power plant in America was built in 1882. Nigeria built in 1896. 126 years of power electricity has existed in Nigeria. And in the land of engineers, doctors, and professors cannot figure it out. Something is wrong with that picture. It has nothing to do with what we don't have. It is how have we maintained what we even had. Okay, so these are the questions we need to be asking.
I'm built upon it. I'm built upon it.
I'm built upon it. Okay, you know, Bola and Olakunle, of course, Aye is my village man. You know, Nigeria does not have 1,000 miles of well-built road in that country. It is hard for you to drive 50 miles or 80 kilometers in Nigeria without a pothole. And you need 90% of what you take to build every road is local to that country. 5,000 miles. And since 1994, 1914, when we did the amalgamation, if you look at the average number of roads in Nigeria, so per year, how many roads are we building? You know how many miles of roads that are in Texas? 400,000 miles of roads.
Yeah.
So these are the measures. It's not all this other PhD, doctor, professor,
what people talk about, Lekki and Lekki. Sorry, Mr. Okpa, just to buttress on what you said, yeah, about the roads. I can't believe that it's only one bridge that crosses from Ikoyi to Lekki. And this is an area where supposedly rich people live. I mean, it's crazy.
River Niger, you know the second River Niger bridge that was just built? Yes. You know when it was started? One was the one that announced it at the end of the war in 1970. Yes. 52 years.
So, you know, we will continue with this because this is not something we're going to talk about in 2 hours, because just talking about the River Niger Bridge and all this, and you know, it's a shame. I remember before we go in 1972, We were at the table with my parents, my dad, my mom. I don't think my oldest was in the uni and all that. And we're dining because my dad was kind of English. We have to be at the table, set and all that. And boom, they took the lights. So 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it didn't come. So I started beating on the table. Munode, oh, Munode, ECN, Munode. It was ECN, Electricity Company of Nigeria at the time.
Yes, to NEPA. ECN tonight to NEPA.
ECN. And before I finished my song, they brought the light. So they've been taking light since as long as I can remember.
1970. No, but electricity has been there. Okay, I know. Let me say this before you shut me up. Okay, it took America 106 years to have electricity after they became a country in 1776. 106 years. Okay, Nigeria got electricity 64 years before independence. 64 years, 1896 to 1960. That's how long Nigeria had it for half a century before. So Nigeria has been a beneficiary of these things that we are struggling with today. Branch banking. America went into branch banking in 1988. Because I was in FDIC as a regional president. I know that. Nigeria was doing branch banking, when Barclays Bank and and all these people came. So it's not that we haven't had this. We just haven't maintained it. We haven't sustained it. And we have allowed
Exactly.
In fact, the first time an American president left America to go visit another country was 102 years after independence. And where did they go? Panama. But as soon as Tafawa Balewa became prime minister, he was all over the place waving hands. So we don't even know how to consolidate. We start running after the same colonial master. That's why you see Nigerian lawyers today wear those crappy things they wear in their hair. Get rid of those things. Begin to build an identity of your own country. America, remember, was colonized. Why is it America driving on the right-hand side of the road? Because they want to get away from what England people are doing on the left-hand side of the road. Why is it that our switch in England people, the UK do this way, we do up. America wanted to say, fuck, excuse my French, forget you. We don't want to copy you and paste you. Why is it that America said, Mr. President, when they were saying, what do we call each other? George Washington got up and said, we don't want to go Your Excellency. That's what we are moving away from. We don't want to do Your Majesty. That's where we are walking away from. We want to do just Mr. President. Boom. That's why he became Mr. President. What is Nigeria doing? Your Excellency. I said to Obasanjo when I met him, I said, what is excellent about Your Excellency? What is excellent about Your Excellency?
In Nigeria, we like title.
Yeah,
it's too much.
That's what Nigeria is supposed to be asking their governor, Your Excellency. Like when Olu Pakalo was the governor of Abia State, even his mom, people go around and say, Mama Excellency, Mama Excellency.
You see, Arakunrin this now, Arakunrin that now. Now you see Otumba this, Otumba. What is wrong with us? What's wrong with that, your dada? Don't call me Otumba, your dada. That's not my name. Call me your dada.
Yeah. No. You have to put a title for your name. You have to call you something. Anyway, guys.
Like Bola Rotimi, you see, very short, nice. Leave it alone and move on.
Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. Have you ever seen all these people? Some of them even have some degrees. They don't put it up. Build your brand with your name. Forget it. In fact, it's struggling people that put all this title in front of them because they want people to know them. I met a bunch of Nigerians, doctors, all this doctor, this, doctor, this, doctor, this. So one day I just said, hey, look, who named the human part? And they were like, what? I said, yeah, you're a doctor. Who named the human part? Did God leave a manual and say heart is a heart, this is a this? I said, he did it. So why don't you just let me know who you are by what you say, how you behave, as opposed to say I'm Dr. Wanko? I said, one time some people, the Nigerians do this title. I don't have any because I don't go school. So, I have letters after my name because I was going to be MC for something, and I said AGKFLI something. And they said, oh boy, wait, I said first living school certificate. That's my title. Before I told them I'm a fellow. I'm a fellow. So sometimes you have to humanize these people to let them know they are a bunch of jokers. You don't need that. Let what you say and how you conduct yourself tell me that you are somebody who has, you know what? You got education. Education is not something you can hide. But when somebody start to tell you, nah, you have to call me engineer. My wife is an electrical engineer. And I told her, I said, if I take you to Igbo land, you cannot say you're an engineer because I'm not. I have to take the title engineer and Mrs. Because I said, no, Igbo people cannot agree that you go marry engineer, you're not one. I said, I beg, go get your certificate, put my name where your name is so I can take you as an engineer, AGK, Mrs. Forget your own, you don't matter. But that's Nigeria for you. We are a people where pharmacists will say pharmacist, architect, arc. Come on, folks.
Engineer.
Anyway, guys, look, it's been a pleasure.
We're doing this again, maybe this weekend or next weekend, but I'll let you know. We have to talk about Obi. We have to talk about Tinubu. We have to talk about the Nigerian youth, the movement. We have to talk about a lot of things. How we can actually. I don't actually like the bicameral. I mean the bicameral legislature we operate in Nigeria. I think it's a waste of money. We don't need it. We don't need Senate. We don't. It's either they go with Senate or legislature.
I'll send you my article. I'll send you something that I wrote about a new Nigerian that will work for Nigeria.
Right, because we can't be copying America.
Even copy America. Ayo, Texas. Okay,
yes.
Our Texas legislature is a part-time legislature. What is part-time about it? We meet 6 months every 2 years. If you're a teacher, a policeman, you go do your work after that six months.
Yes.
Okay, you're gone.
Yes.
And what is the salary for our senators and our House members? $7,200.
It's nothing now.
That's what we are paid. So we run the least cost of government in America because we don't want our politicians to be feeding frenzy people. So there are things you can copy, but do you have the will to paste? Remember when Nigeria said they have an American model of government? I said no, you don't. The governors are different. The states are different. The president of America doesn't tell any governor what to do. So we are not there. But it is those of us who have the benefit and being fortunate to even live in the system that works that can say, look, if the Yoruba people say, hey, I want our governor to serve one term, 6 years and 7 years, you're out. They don't have to go to the center. The state legislature will pass that law. You get one term, you're out. We want to pay you salary. The salary we pay you is 1% of the state budget for you to run the government house. How much does it take to run the White House? $70 million. That's all the salary. That's all the president gets with his staff. 70 million. It's not even 100. One governor can pocket all of that in how long a period?
In 1 week.
In 1 week. And we think we're going to get it right? We cannot. We give every state government, you cannot use more than 2% of your state budget to run the government house. And you don't get it one time, you get it every month. And you cannot award a contract of more than 5 billion naira in any given year. Okay? We limit them. But the state legislatures have to come together.
But then I go back to Bola's point. That is the main problem. They're not going to do it because
we start to introduce it, and then we start to energize the local people. But it's going to be us that are bringing it in, and we go to the state assembly. Okay, I don't know part of Yoruba land you come to, and the people from there say, Mr. Speaker, we want you to talk about this legislation. You watch them. If they say no, you get the market women. You break it down. This is what is going on, and they can agitate. When you inform people to why their situation is what it is, you know what? You are sparking something in them. That's why when I write, I don't write to appease. I write to provoke. I don't do the meals and boom, ocean of good health. How are you doing stuff? I want to hit you, boom, 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 and maybe you can hit me or you can like me. Either way, it's fine with me. Okay, I'm not in this thing to be liked. I'm in this thing to be respected. I only Yoruba people they get. I don't see Ajayi.
No, only Yoruba people they respond now. I don't ask all the Igbo people. They don't come now.
Ajayi Hana.
Hey there, how are y'all doing?
I feel ground.
Well, Mr. Ajayi, you were late. We're about to shut it down, but
I see.
It's another one I really want to be on this panel. So we're planning on coming together maybe this Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to talk to Mr. Arutime, Mr. Arugun. Mr. Okpa is ready because there are things we really need to talk about. Moving forward, maybe we can even make this an every week thing. Just chat, come up with us because there's a lot that is wrong with our country, and we need to start from somewhere. And I really want to thank Mr. Arutime. I thank you very, very much for joining me, Mr. Arugun. I thank you so much. Mr. Obi Ajay, perfect timing because we're about to shut it down. But all thanks, man.
Yeah, you invited me when I was in the middle of something, and I didn't have enough time to respond. So I said, "Oh, well, I'm still gonna just make it in anyhow."
You are a timely person, I know that, and you are an important part of whatever it is we're doing on the side.
Right.
So that's why these people these friends that I put up here, we're gonna come together and we're gonna set a time. I'll get back to Mr. Okpa. Mr. Okpa, I thank you so very much. We need to tap that your brain. That's your brain where they inside that place. I need to tap on where. You need to talk to people more. Mr. Arutime, and all of us, we can tax that brain of yours, eh? Thank you very much.
So let me tell you, like I said, my wife is Yoruba. So anytime I'm in the midst of Yoruba people, I say, you cannot beat me hard enough. I marry your sister.
You are not alone. No. I married your sister. I married your sister too.
Okay, so you see, that's what I say. East, West. That we exchange.
Yeah, my wife is from Delta.
So we have to have this sense of who we are.
I tell you,
values and principles.
My ex-wife was from Delta, but she showed me Pepe.
No worry. In fact, no. Say the first one is the test, except if that test go longer. So if you don't work out, say, hey, make everybody answer in Papa name.
You give me good children, so no problem about that.
You have to keep moving. But look, guys, I enjoy the conversation. I don't do debate. I do conversations.
Right.
And we have something bigger than us, and we have something that is going to still be here when we leave. The thing is, how do we add our 2 kobo or 2 cents into this stuff? How do we inspire somebody? I have this saying that I say, reach one to expand the franchise of life. Everything is about the human capital. And if you waste that human capital, your equipment is not going to do anything, your land is not going to do anything, your capital is not going to do anything. So let us energize the Nigerian human capital. Forget all this, we have all it. In economics, those things are considered unearned income. Okay? There's nothing Nigerians did for oil to be in the ground. But they can use their ingenuity, their human capital, to live a life of substance and not wait for oil or not wait for any of this. That is what our job is, to inspire Nigerians and say, this is up to you. You want to be, like my mom said, if you're a doormat, 2 things will happen to you. You get stepped on or you get stepped over. Thank you, guys. And anytime you need me, I'm available.
Thank you, Mr. Okpa. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Arugun.
Thanks for having me.
All right, it's a pleasure being here as well. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you very much. We will be doing this again, but I'll reach out to you. Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.